We'll take him together. You'll go slow on the left.
I'm taking him now.
Hugh! Hugh!
Damn, that is pretty
Ass.
Hey, before this video begins, I'm on Spotify now.
Want a break from the ads? If you tap now.
So if you want to watch my videos while you sleep but don't want to use YouTube, or if you want to hear me scream in your ear while you go grocery shopping, then I'm right here on Spotify. That way I can make more money from you. And with the money, I will be slaughtering Joe Rogan live on camera. Anyway, so yeah, a new way to watch me unlocked. Oh, and speaking of Spotify, I got a new music thing on my music channel.
Tired of fake friends? Betrayal got you down? We got you covered. Maskaholics presents No Bears, featuring the hottest bangers.
Do you mind me? Could you find me? Could you tell me? Could you find me?
And that's just a taste of what's to come. This is No Bears.
Before I start this video, I want to talk about a different game for a minute. Bully is a video game that still stands as one of Rockstar's most unique titles. For one, it's one of the very few video games set in a high school that sets out to gamify the high school experience. It's of course not the only game to do this, and sure as hell isn't the first, but even among other high school games, there just isn't any like Bully. Even to this day, and in spite of a very garbage PC port that keeps crashing on me and breaking all the time, Bully is still just so effortlessly charming. It's very easy to see why people love Bully so much, and I do too. The combat is shockingly really fun and somewhat influential in a lot of ways, and the open world and NPCs are so reactive to you, making the small open world feel so lived in. And those characters, man, they're just so much fun. All of that bleeding that Rockstar edge and satire brilliantly. I especially love the very Warriors approach to the game's world building, with all the high school cliques feeling just so distinct. It's just such a charming and fun game, even today. However, the game also hasn't really aged all that well. While the combat is surprisingly in-depth and influential, going back to it does feel kind of frustrating and stiff at points. The missions especially get really repetitive near the end of the game, where it kind of feels like you're doing the same mission multiple times near the end. And narratively, while the characters and writing are really strong, the story itself leaves a lot to be desired. Like, seriously, Gary Smith is probably one of my favorite villains in anything ever. He's super charismatic, but also just a lunatic dickhead.
I've got a good idea for some fun. Let's go out and torment someone really helpless and unfortunate.
So why the fuck is he just, like, gone for 2/3 of the fucking game? And once you just beat the shit out of him, the game just ends, and that's it. Some of the comedy hasn't really aged well either. Like, the game is certainly really funny at points.
I think I have finally caught the essence of what it means to be a banana. I really
This
feel my
is a
work
work of
moving forward.
art.
But then there are other times where, like, I'm taking photos of underage girls in the shower, and I'm like, you know, I don't find that really funny. Now, I'm not saying all this is just to drag a Bully through the mud or anything. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm saying all this to ask, why the fuck hasn't there been a Bully 2 yet? It's a game that's both unique enough and unrefined enough to be begging for a follow-up. Now, at one point, there was a Bully 2 in development at Rockstar, but it was canceled like 15 years ago, so hey man, the hype train's still on. I'm still waiting for Agent. So with that said, with the game turning 20 years old this year, Jesus Christ, it's pretty shocking that we don't even have a spiritual successor to the game, let alone a Rockstar-sanctioned sequel. That is until August 12th of this year, with the release of Agefield High Rock the School, a game that very clearly from the trailers is trying to be Bully, except this time apparently with an early 2000s raunchy teen comedy edge. So basically it's Bully, but with fake nostalgia pandering. This game comes to us from Refugium Games, developers of Grey Hill Incident, whatever that is. Now, fun fact, I have actually heard of this game by randomly browsing on Amazon sometimes, but honestly, I don't know shit about it, so let's watch this guy's YouTube video on it, I guess.
The Grey Hill incident might be one of the biggest wastes of time I have ever felt I've had after playing a game.
Oh, That's not good. Well, you know, first-time games are always the roughest. And the team, I'm sure, is very, very small and very DIY, and I respect that. But you know what I don't respect, though? Playing this fucking game. This is by far the worst game I have played this year. I was hoping for a funny bad game, and I only got that in small increments. This game is less of a bully successor and more like a Ride to Hell Retribution successor.
Don't you move now, cherry pie.
Only instead of motorbikes, this time it's the early 2000s vibes of being tortured in Abu Ghraib. This game is the equivalent of a Chinese water torture. This, honestly, might in fact be one of the worst games I have ever played in my life. So I'm gonna try to talk about this game the best I can. So whether I like it or not, this is Agefield High Rock the School. What the fuck kind of name is that? Before we swing into this trash, though, what's even more dangerous than bad movies and video games is when you're at risk of malware. When you're browsing online, you are always at risk of being compromised. And hackers and people who want your data in general are always adapting, trying to stay one step ahead of you. That's why it's always good to have a strong antivirus, and NordVPN's built-in next-gen antivirus has tons of features to keep you one step ahead. NordVPN is truly privacy first, and this software truly shows it. NordVPN's next-gen antivirus will warn you about fake scam stores online, block phishing sites before they can compromise you, scan your downloads to see if they're clean, filter out scam calls, and block online trackers that are always keeping tabs on your IP address. This is what separates NordVPN from other VPN providers. It does so much more to protect you before the threats can even get to you. On top of that, because it's also a VPN, you get all the other great perks of having a VPN as well. By tunneling your network to other regions across the globe, Nord protects you and opens the door to a truly open internet, allowing you to watch geo-restricted content, keep safe on public Wi-Fi, which tends to be very risky, and just in general makes it harder for hackers to find your IP in the first place. NordVPN can also be used on multiple devices, so it really is helpful when you're on the go or working from home. Again, NordVPN is truly privacy first, and they commit to that. You can try out NordVPN using my link and code below. If you're not satisfied, you can refund within 30 days, so there really is no risk at all. You can try NordVPN out now by, again, using the link and code below, or by going to nordvpn.com/Dumbsville. That's nordvpn.com/Dumbsville. Thanks so much to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. So, first off, the visuals. They're fucking horrible. And I'm half convinced all the assets are, like, probably stock from the Unreal Engine workshop. The facial animations are especially bad. No one expresses anything. Every expression is the most dead-eyed stare I have ever seen. It's very clear all the human models were made with Unreal Engine's MetaHuman tool, which is fine if you use them properly and, you know, animate them, which this game does not really do at all. So every character in cutscene is this uncanny valley monstrosity. You know, at least Ride to Hell Retribution had the honor of making the characters a little bit more exaggerated. Agefield just looks terrifying. And oftentimes, the characters' faces will not fit their emotions at all. This is the main character when he's angry. This is the main character when he's apprehensive and nervous. This is him when he's around a hot girl. Would you be able to tell the difference? The most he does emote throughout the game is when he makes this face multiple times. As if the developers are so proud of this animation that they got a human being to emote for once. You've probably heard the insult, "This looks like a PS2 game" before, right? But in Agefield's case, I wish this looked like a PS2 game. Because at the very least, it would have given the game a sense of an art direction. Even the text is terrible, like it's almost unreadable. Who the fuck picked this font choice in the game? It's so fucking thin, it's hard to read. The only other artistic choice there is the fact that the game is a Far Cry 3 levels of oversaturated, which just ends up making all the weird hyper-realistic assets stand out even more. Was this game AI generated? It really feels that way. The game, simply put, just looks really bad. Like, again, I genuinely wish this did look like a PS2 game, especially when there currently are games that are embracing that art style currently and look way more interesting. I think what also helps is when your characters actually move in cutscenes and don't just stand around. Like, if you aren't gonna animate the faces, the least you could do is use a body language like regular humans do. Agefield High has characters just stand around awkwardly, while the game shows them off with what can only be described as the worst in-game cinematography ever. But I'm not being shoved into the meta-human characters' faces. I'm not even sure what the fuck is going on half the time. The game's Steam page says, and I quote, "You should attend Agefield High if you missed the early 2000s. If references to the music, movies, fashion, and culture of that era make you smile, you'll probably feel right at home." So I guess references to the art direction of that time period was not really considered. I don't remember games with realistic skin textures, the exception being Silent Hill 3, which is a game I really don't want to include in this conversation right now. You know what else isn't really early 2000s? Trap drums. Now, the soundtrack in this game overall is just pretty terrible. It often sounds like the most royalty-free shit of all time. I half expect Sneaky Snitch and Audio Jungle to pop up throughout this thing.
I've been trying to get geeked on, I geeked up.
Even the pop-punk tracks, which there are like 2 of them, feel very overtly gentrified. But the most confusing inclusion are the trap beats. Some beats I half expect Future to hop on. Other ones are, as you saw earlier, a hybrid of pop-punk and trap drums. Yes, this game does in fact include Lil Peep X Juice WRLD type beats.
I miss you, Juice WRLD. I miss you, XXX Tentacion. You made the world so bright. Now it's time to say goodbye.
Now, emo trap is a genre, and in fact, I grew up with it in high school. There's just one problem, though. The game takes place in 2002. 10 years before people like Young Lean and Bones would start the genre, let alone trap itself, which still would have been underground during this time as well. The first album to coin the phrase trap music would not be out for another fucking year. And even then, it sounds completely different from the trap this game includes. This is the crunk era, goddammit. If you played Saints Row 2, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Riding in that mean jump till the shoes clean. They clinging on the G cause it sounds so sweet to 'em. If I don't sleep with 'em, I don't got no need for 'em. Mommy, what you speaking for if you ain't trying to leave with us?
You know, I originally had a section here comparing this game's soundtrack to Bully, but like, that's really not fair. Not because Bully's soundtrack is the GOAT, which it is by the way, but rather because it's just not nice to pick on the kid at school. But one thing I do want to bring up is the fact that at the very least, Bully's soundtrack plays in the open world. Agefield High, meanwhile, does not have a theme that plays during the open world. So traversing Bully's open world will often sound like this.
Oh gosh, sorry.
You see, now, doesn't that just add so much life to the world? Anyways, here's what Agefield High sounds like. Are we fucking serious here, man? On top of that, speaking of the open world here, to quote myself from earlier in this video, Chinese water torture. Destinations take way too long to arrive to. Objects like rivers and bridges are placed in the most frustrating areas. And worst of all, the open world is a barren, uninteresting wasteland. This is one of the most boring open worlds to navigate. One of the characters early on in the game says you need a bike to navigate Agefield.
By the way, check out Mike's bike shop in the meantime. He sells the best bikes around. You're gonna need one in Agefield.
What he means by this is all your destinations are so fucking spread out that making a bike 90% of the gameplay will make you go like 2% less crazy. To show you how long it takes to get somewhere, let's do what the game tells us and go to the marked location.
Check out Mike's bike shop in the meantime. He sells the best bikes around. You're gonna need one in Agefield.
Sadly, the game itself doesn't always agree with that, because there's one point where I died and was stuck in the fucking floor, unable to move or anything. So I was straight up hard locked. So I restarted my game to, to fix it, and the game took away my sanctioned bike that it gave to me in a much earlier story mission, by the way. So I had to play the last hour or so of the game, including the mission I just died at, all over again, completely on foot, despite the game straight up knowing and acknowledging it takes forever to get places. Wow, great job, guys. What a finished product you have here. Furthermore, with some bikes, you can perform a jump, and with other ones, like police bikes, you can't. I have no idea why that's the case, but it is. That's not to mention the other weird, stupid things in this open world, like, for example, the bike racks being called garages, even though they're very clearly a bike racks and not garages. Or how about the ability to be able to do missions is tied to the day and night cycle? Now, to be fair, Bully also does this, but is way more generous with it. For example, you can do most day missions between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m., maybe even later than that. Agefield, though, will tie specific times to its missions. This is to incentivize you to either go to class and do math questions you can't solve in your head, but the game wants you to anyways. Or how about a German class? I don't know fucking German. Why am I being given German classes? Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't study German before playing my fake video game I want to play for fun. I shouldn't have to have a degree in fucking German to play this shit. But I guess keeping your words on your paper isn't required. Anyways, you can do that while waiting for a mission to start. Or do one of the side missions, which I did 2 of them and neither of them were fun. And either way, I'm someone who likes doing the main story first and then the side missions later if I like the game enough. And to be honest, I really don't want to play any more of this shitty fucking game. So because of all this, there'll be moments where I'm just waiting for the next mission to start, and I'll be waiting for upwards of nearly 10 minutes. What a waste of fucking time. Speaking of not fun, the combat. Holy shit, this is the worst combat ever made. So you have a punch move, that is the right trigger. You have a kick move, that is a B. You have a shove move, that is X. That will put down enemies' defenses. You have a block move, that's the right bumper. You can lock on with the left trigger. And none of these moves actually fucking work. And on top of that, this combat was absolutely not made for multiple enemies. So the game throws multiple enemies at you anyways. A lot of times, your punches just won't connect at all. And when they do, the enemy will probably be blocking them anyways, allowing other enemies to come up behind you and take you out. And for some reason, while you can lock onto one enemy, you can't switch between targets. And trying to get any kind of spacing will have the game telling you to go back to the mission area. Even though as far as I'm concerned, I'm already in the mission area. It makes you wonder what the fuck the devs were thinking at this time. To quote Agefield's Steam page, again, you should attend Agefield if you appreciate simple old school gameplay. Well, here's my question. What in the fuck is old school about this? The game has the God of War 2018 camera. Combat is intentionally straightforward. No 50-button combo system required. Oh, so like completely unlike Bully, the game you're ripping off, which had multi-button combo moves in it? Did you even play that fucking game? The game also has really shitty stealth sections, straight out of Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PS1. Except unlike MGS1, Agefield doesn't actually work. They're of course also not fun and have the worst alert sound I have ever heard. Yes, that's really the sound they went with. There is no joke, nothing fun about this game at all. Everything it does gameplay-wise, it completely fails at. You have to wonder if the devs even played their own fucking game here. I haven't seen a game do this much wrong in a long time, let alone ever. Again, there is just nothing positive to say about anything on the game front. The game is a torturous slog the entire way through, and there is nothing enjoyable or redeeming about it at all. Okay, so the gameplay is straight up a dog ass, but maybe the story can no, I'm just fucking with you. No, the story is a dog shit. I don't know what you were expecting here. The story is just a non-starter. Trying to find anything to get attached to in the story is a Herculean task. All of these characters are the most by the numbers, most boring stereotypes ever. The game claims to be inspired by raunchy and edgy teen comedies.
Twerking chicken.
With the game having a very legalized comedy way of marketing that. You should probably skip Agefield High if you don't enjoy edgy or raunchy humor. This school has plenty of it. Some would call it outdated or a bit offensive. Did you get Tom McDonald to write that one for you?
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi.
Anyways, no, the game isn't funny, and it's not so much offensive as it is incredibly awkward and forced.
Hey! No one gets pregnant on my watch!
Okay.
So, like, if you've ever made a joke in your life, that's how offensive Agefield gets.
You won't believe what she did to me last night. She used 3 fingers this time.
On top of that, the actual comedic timing is straight up just non-existent, so everything is insanely stilted and awkward.
Whose panties are those?
They're his sister's panties. Lisa's.
Get on with it!
The dialogue in general, too, is just terrible. One of the first lines in the game, I shit you not, is this.
Hey, Renfield, what's with the look? You depressed or something?
I'm goth, asshole.
Would you bark for me?
Your worst sin is that you have destroyed and betrayed yourself for nothing. Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment.
I'm goth, asshole.
It's not just the god-awful inhuman dialogue either, but it's also the pacing. Every dialogue exchange is so awkward because everybody pauses for a whole second, and all the voice actors are just terrible. It's one thing to have bad mic quality, but there's like no voice direction at all for anybody. Top that off with the extremely awful animations, and all of it just combines for this really robotic presentation that will make like a 2-second scenes to feel like the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, hey, Sam and, Lisa. What's up?
What's up, Mike? How's business?
It's going fantastic.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Are you bullshitting us?
This is how every interaction in the game is. The amount of times I've screamed "get on with it" during a cutscene is too many to fucking count.
I heard you're getting ready to throw your own little party. Not in my town.
Get on with it!
You know, despite being inspired by 2000s teen comedies, it sure is shockingly boring. It's like the guy who wrote this never even experienced a human emotion before. We're led to believe the main character of Sam is a troublemaker. Well, could have fooled me because he's very awkward, and every bad decision he makes is when the other characters tell him to do something. Tell me, does this guy sound interesting to you?
Such a beautiful young man showing them how to behave.
Thanks. No problem. I do what I can.
No, of fucking course not! Meanwhile, in a Bully, the game Agefield is ripping off, Jimmy Hopkins is the perfect main character for that game. As him being a really cynical character who doesn't really care about anybody else is something the game actively plays into. Do you know how much more interesting it is when Jimmy actively talks back to people? Like, I'm sorry for subjecting you to this, but here's a scene in Agefield High, where Sam gets a fake ID from a horny nerd character.
Howdy, Sam. Here's the fake ID. Take care of it.
Thanks, bud. But why are you helping us so much?
I have a deal with Kale. He provides me with some, nerd magazines, and I help him with whatever I can.
Well, thanks.
And that's it. That's the whole interaction right there. Now, let's see how Bully does a similar interaction. This time of Jimmy talking to Ernest about taking pictures of women in showers. You know, the part that I earlier said I didn't find that funny? Yeah, let's see how Bully does that interaction.
I need some naughty pictures of that Mandy girl.
I'm sure you do, but what has that got to do with this?
Oh, this is purely for the purposes of this plan. I'm not like that at all.
You want me to get incriminating pictures of the head cheerleader just for your plan? The kind of pictures that could land me in jail or worse?
It's not easy being the boss.
Man, this better be good.
Notice how much more snappier the dialogue is. How more reluctant Jimmy is, adding a bit more drama and tension. You know, I could go on, but I feel like just simply put, Bully just isn't fucking boring.
Boring? I'm boring.
Agefield, meanwhile, all the way through is boring, with a ton of slow attempts at emotion and drama that obviously fall flat. Of course they do. And the very rare times the story gets weirdly absurd, I don't know whether the game wants me to take it seriously or not. Like, for example, there's a part where the bullies try sacrificing a girl to Satan. Yes, you heard me right, this happens, and for the most part, I think it's played straight.
And next, drink the blood of a dog.
I forgot what my point was. I think there's a massive elephant in the room. Why is there a satanic ritual in this game? I really couldn't tell you. What did Hideo Kojima mean by this? The game has other characters. I don't remember them very well, though. There's the character of a Kale. His name is Kale, and he's very boring. I thought he was a we have a Gary Smith at a home at first, so did my friend who watched me play this game for a bit. But rest assured, he isn't, because that would be too interesting. He is supposedly your friend all the way through, even though he has no chemistry with you. The game also has two endings based on two women you can romance. One of them is a bitchy blonde bimbo who really only gets developed in any way towards the end of the game, while the other character is the main love interest who is by your side the whole game. Of course, this is only a functionally. She's not well written at all, and I forgot her name anyways. But the game uses a bunch of cliches to point a giant red arrow at her saying, this is the love interest. So if one character has Sam throughout the story going, oh man, I think I love whatever her name is, and the other character only gets developed in the latter part of the game, then what's the point of having two endings in the first place? They literally only made two endings so they can say the game has two endings, and they don't even try to give you any kind of moral dilemma for those two endings. So what's the point then? Why not just have one goddamn ending?
My dad agreed to send me to the College of Arts and Creativity.
I said my fucking piece. Fuck Agefield High, rock the school. This is a fucking abysmal experience. This is the worst game of the year, and easily one of the worst games I have ever played in my life. Look, here's the thing, right? I know the dev team is small. I don't think me or anyone really was expecting a AAA title or anything. But that brings me to two things. First of all, there are way better and more interesting games made for less, by less, by people with actual ideas and visions for what they want to accomplish. And second of all, maybe you shouldn't have made a game like this. An open world Bully successor is a pretty daunting task, and one where inevitably you're going to be compared to Bully, which you probably don't want, judging that Bully is a game made by Rockstar. Whether you like it or not, that is way too big of an expectation to have. Now, maybe down the line you can do that with more people and experience in your studio, but you can't make a Bully successor within 2.5 years with a core team of 5 people and just expect the results to not be disastrous. And yes, you heard me right. 2.5 years to make and 5 people on the team. This project should have been saved for a later time when you can staff up better, you know? Although I have to wonder if it really is the team size or just incompetency on top of that. You know, again, I don't expect a AAA game out of this, but I do expect something fun. And Agefield High is not fun whatsoever, and it somehow goes below even those expectations. It's a boring and frustrating torture of an experience. It is a physical and mental torment to play, and I never want to think about it again. And that's my video. Better luck next time, I guess.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, throw that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn. Hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn, hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Hey, I'm with a dark-skinned girl on a Sunday, that's that Black Sabbath. She put them ones all down on a Hyundai, and she had to have it. Baby, that's the facts, yeah, that's the facts, yeah.
Okay, so we on the way to the bus. Damn! This bitch must be parked downtown Atlanta. God damn, they did y'all dirty. Who the fuck did y'all like this? Y'all shit sitting on bricks. Heavy.